Hey, what's good, champions? Arian, Tyson here, and I just wanted to shoot this video, and I wanted to ask a question, and my response is probably going to shock some people, just because I'm known as the moving motivator. I want to ask the question, is it good to be unmotivated? And believe it or not, my answer is yes, it is. It is good to be unmotivated, and I'm going to tell you why. And if you get value from this video, feel free to share this video. Feel free to leave me a comment. Having said all that, I want to share with you why it's good to actually be unmotivated. With so many people in the world doing whatever they can to stay motivated, gonna flip the script. It's good to feel unmotivated, and here's why. Every video that I do, I start off with, "Hey champions," or "Good morning champions." What I've learned from my own life and from my own experiences is that champions rise from the ashes, not the clouds. I'm going to say it again. Champions rise from the ashes, not the clouds. Anyone can do well when fully motivated. If you were always fully motivated to do the right things, life would not be a challenge at all. You'd never have an off day. This sounds nice, but it's completely impossible for a human life. Therefore, many people are chasing something, 100% motivation, that simply does not exist. The real test in life is what happens when you are not motivated. And believe it or not, there are many times when I am not motivated. For many people, this scenario means that they'll try to get motivated so that they can effortlessly succeed again. But do you see the flaw in this? It isn't going to work every time. Trust me, I know. There will be circumstances in which motivation is lacking and you cannot change it. You can always do something about your actions, but your emotional state is unpredictable. Another thing that I've learned is that people who always seem motivated probably are not. And I'm a living witness to that. If a person always shows up and is generally successful in their ventures, it may seem that they're highly motivated all the time. What it likely means, however, is that they depend on motivation less than the typical person. For example, Olympic athletes are motivated people in general, but their success comes from the fact that they can get themselves to train even when they rather do something else. The casual gym goer might only go when he or she has average to high energy and is in the mood. Willpower is often misattributed as motivation. When an Olympic gold medalist or a gold medal athlete looks back to what got them this far, they think of the sacrifices and tough days they put in because they wanted it. This overall drive towards their cause is different from the fluctuating motivation they felt along the way. In reality, their success was in overcoming a lack of motivation. On many occasions, we get emotional about victories because of the hardship and resistance we conquered to earn them. They may say they wanted it, but that's only in a general sense. There were certainly many moments when they didn't want to train and did all anyways. And this is by definition a lack of motivation that they overcame with willpower. And yet motivation is crowned the hero. Motivation and resistance has an inverse relationship. If you're fully motivated, you will have no resistance. If you're fully unmotivated, you will have a lot of resistance. To understand this, simply think of eating a meal. When you get hungry, you're 100% motivated to eat. It's not a decision to wrestle with because you want to do it. For more difficult tasks, it's unlikely that you'll be 100% motivated to do them. And that's when you'll face resistance, the amount of which varies. But there is opportunity for the unmotivated. Unmotivated victims, I'm learning, aren't victims. They're fortunate. Because every time you're unmotivated, you have the opportunity to practice being unstoppable. Think about the power of what I just said. Every time you're unmotivated, you have the opportunity to practice being unstoppable. If you're completely unmotivated and can act anyway, you cannot be stopped. It is the worst circumstance for action, and yet it does not stop you. Ironically, this very notion may motivate you, which it actually does for me, which it actually has for me. But don't rely on that happening either. The best you can do is to prove to yourself that you don't need to feel it in order to act. This increased reliability creates self-trust and self-respect. You'll become the person who always comes through. I'm not saying that motivation is a bad thing. Trust me, I'm the moving motivator. So I would never say that motivation is a bad thing. When you are motivated, act on that and be grateful and be in the moment and be happy. But when you are not motivated, don't worry about necessarily getting motivated and don't sulk about your feelings. Instead, look at the opportunity when you have to prove, look at the opportunity you have to prove that you cannot be stopped. So I wanted to share that with you today, and I trust that you got value from it. If you did, feel free to leave me a comment. Feel free to share this video. And remember, in life, you have two choices. You can make moves or you can make excuses, but you most certainly cannot do both. It's yours truly, Arian Tyson, the moving motivator, and I will talk to you on the next one. Peace.